Oh, man. Big tour.
Okay, the first thing I want to hit you with, talk about that JUCO grind, right? I tell people all the time who will listen, like, yo, you can call it the chitlin circuit, you can call it whatever you want, but it ain't for everybody. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really got to want to do this if you go that route. So I was there for 2. I went to Murray State College in Southern Oklahoma. You had just a year, right?
1, yep.
Break that down. How'd they come about? How was it? All of that.
Well, coming out of Millwood, I mean, you just didn't get a lot of college coaches coming through there. Miss Spears, Spears, she old school. So she wasn't reaching out to coaches.
Right.
And I actually only got to Barton because of one of my teammates' moms.
Ooh.
She sent out, she used to record all of our games, right? And so she sent out a film, and actually it was for her daughter, sent out a film trying to get her daughter in school.
Right.
And they saw me and was like, hold on, who's the little PG shooting threes and, doing all this crazy stuff? And she, and so we went on a visit together, and I actually ended up committing there, and she actually, got a scholarship at another school. So that's how I got there in the first place. When I got there, it was rough. I was ready to go home. I was calling my mom every day, like, Mama, come get me.
So when you say come get you, that means you weren't mobile, at least not the first year?
No. Well, I had a car, but my mom was like, don't be driving everywhere. Like, you can't come home every weekend. Don't be driving. Yeah, like I would have been out burning up the highway. But I mean, it was rough. I mean, I wasn't used to, obviously, I'm used to being the best player on the team, and just being able to do whatever. When you get there, even if it's JUCO, I mean, everybody's trying to go to the same place you trying to go to. They trying to go D1. They trying to, get out of there in a year or 2. And so, I mean, it was rough. I mean, 6 a.m. practices, 5 a.m. practices. I remember my first 6 a.m. practice.
Now, was it practice or we talking conditioning?
Conditioning, all that preseason stuff.
Ooh, okay.
I got kicked out.
Why? I need to know.
I got kicked out. 1, I was late because I was walking in like a little bit early, right? No energy, I'm just like clapping, still half sleep, right? Didn't wake up in time to eat breakfast, so it's no energy. So, coach was like, you better pick it up. Okay. Whatever.
A little bit.
Went a little bit harder.
Half a mile harder.
Get out. Me?
Yeah.
Ego like, like, me? He's like, yeah, get out. I'm like, okay. I go in the locker room. Come in like 2 minutes later. No. Take your stuff all the way. Go back to your dorm room. You don't want to be here today.
So you were just in there just chilling, just sitting like, what's going through your mind at that time?
Do I really want to do this? Like, this is tough. This is hard. Like, I've never been through it before. I never been in that position before. I always just, I went hard, but not as hard as they expect you to go in college, obviously. And so it was just like, I'm like, man, like, I've never got kicked out of practice before. Like, what is going on? Like, so, he come in there. I had to get my stuff, go to my dorm. It was a humbling moment, and so it woke me up. And so, from then on out, I was first and everything.
First.
So
had exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm interested. I always love to hear little breakdowns like that because I hate to sound like old people, but today's youngsters that you and I both deal with, no matter where they're from, it's like if you press them too hard, you don't know what you're going to activate. Now, I remember we're the same age. I done my little homework. So you 88, right? Mm-hmm. I'm born at the end of 88. You know what I mean? So it's like my get mad meter was like, okay, I'm getting ready to show you. Right. Whereas today, it's like, man, screw this. Yeah, I'm out of here. And I'm like, well, damn, how do we deal with that?
Right.
So did you have, past that moment, did you ever have to revisit that thought of, do I really want to do this? Or was that it? That was enough for you to be like, all right, I'm here. Let's lock in.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an option for me to go home. It wasn't an option for me to quit anything. I've never quit anything. I've never been in that position before, but it was like, okay, I got to go harder.
Right.
Because my mom, my sisters, I watched them, go hard at everything. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to step my game up. and it motivated me. You know, like you said, I mean, today's day and age, it's like you gotta kind of tiptoe around some things. You know, you got to try to find ways to motivate them. You know, you can't say too much, you can't yell too hard. I mean, it's just, but I mean, that actually motivated me to, okay, you gotta come in here and you gotta show them what you made of. Like, you'll never get kicked out again.
So you said you watched your sisters, right? Are you the baby?
I'm the baby.
How many of y'all is it?
My mom's side is 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the baby.
How was that growing up the bottom of the barrel? Or
Yeah.
the bottom of the totem pole?
I mean, it was up and down, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always kind of in the shadows of my 2 older sisters. You know, Shyla, she wasn't a basketball player, but she was, you know, kind of popular.
Right.
Cheerleader, you know, everybody knew her. So, you know, if her friends saw me out, they're like, "Oh, that's little to Shyla."
I know they got to be
Hey,
annoying.
how you doing? You know, and then obviously Keisha, you know,
Yeah.
growing up, basketball star, I was kind of always in her shadows too. And like her friends, oh, what's up, little Keisha? Okay, my name is Toya.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll take it. Hey, how you doing? You know, but, you know, then again, it was kind of, you know, they set the bar expectations. I knew how to do things that, you know, most people my age didn't know how to do. I had that help, had that guidance. You know, they were always, you know, helping me, showing me the ropes, whatever I needed, I got it. So they, you know, they spoiled me in a way, but then they gave me that tough love, like, you know, she the baby, she get anything she want. Now, yeah. So, I mean, it was it was both. I enjoyed it.
Did you realize that oh snap, I do kind of get what I want?
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do?
I do. I still do.
I'm speaking past tense. I love that.
I still do, yeah.
I love that. I got a soft spot for siblings getting along. You know what I mean? Because, of course, you go through your friction when you're growing up, but once we come of age, it's like, who's closer to you than your sister? You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, circling back to basketball. How was that one season there? Were y'all a good team? Were there bumps in the road? Did you ever find your footing in terms of, okay, I may not be the absolute best, but here's my lane. Here's how I can contribute. How'd that go?
Yeah, that Barton team, I mean, we went 27-3 that year, and we shared the conference championship that year. I mean, we were good. We could not go to the playoffs. We could not go to the postseason, I should say, because we was on probation for something that they had did previous years, and so that was the only downfall of, you know, being there and not being able to go further. Was the only downfall of that year. But like I said, we went 27-3. Got a ring. Yeah. So, I mean, it was great experiences. I ended up being maybe either the leading scorer or the second leading scorer that year. I still kind of hold some records.
Yeah.
You know, toot my own horn a little bit.
Still
hold some records at Barton. You know, most three-pointers made in the game and three-point percentage and all that good stuff. So, I mean,
once a good shooter, but you were efficient too.
Yeah. Efficient. And so, you know, once I kind of figured out, okay, you know, what is going to be my role, you know, and I just took it. I just went with it. You know, he told me, hey, because Millwood, I was kind of like a do-it-all.
Right.
You know, bring the ball up, shoot it, pass it, do whatever. He's like, hey, we got a point guard. You need to shoot. I'm like, okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I love to do.
That's a gem, though, for a coach to tell you definitively, listen, this is what we need from you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it's one thing to have the roles told to you, but if you don't accept them, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So after that year, why just 1 year instead of 2?
It's a crazy story,
right.
Honestly. We had a coaching change. I wasn't sure about, you know, what the new coach was going to bring.
Right.
And then the whole postseason thing, you know, got me like, hey, you know, if we can't go to the postseason, like, I mean, I was just kind of thinking about all those things. And then actually.
Did they have another year of their probation, or was that the last one?
They didn't know.
Oh,
he didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it was so up and down. Like, I heard, you know, one thing, like, you know, postseason ban is going to be lifted, and then the next week it's like, oh, we don't know yet. So it's like so up and down. So I'm like, you know, I just started thinking just about all this different stuff. And then Coach Jones, she was at OCU when Keisha was there. She ended up getting a Division I job out at Mercer. And so when she got that job, she hit me up, started recruiting me and all that stuff. And so I just kind of went with it because I just didn't know the future at Barton. Looking back on it, I mean, I don't know I probably would have done things a little bit different, but I mean, my path is my path, and
yeah. It looks like it worked out for you.
Yeah, it did.
What was that transition like? You essentially taking 2 steps, so to speak, because you skipped a step that second year. You going from junior college band. What are you, 19 years old at the time? Going to the NCAA Division I level.
Yeah, I mean, Mercer. We were, you know, mid-major program, but we played our preseason. I mean, our non-conference game was wild. I mean, we played OU, OSU, Texas Tech, Florida State. I mean, we were playing all the big wigs. Georgia, Louisville. I mean, we played Louisville when Angel McCautry was there. Yeah. She was the number 1 leader scorer in the nation. Yeah, so we was playing all the big wigs, and I mean that was a good experience, and I felt like, you know, me personally, I held my own against those programs, and I remember playing Georgia. We were playing Georgia at Georgia, and I think I went off like 21 points, like, you know.
This all your sophomore season?
Yeah, all my sophomore year. And then I remember the girls on the bench was like, "Yo, like what you like? Why you?" Like mid-major, you know, but
you let him in scoring that year, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, a little bit.
I let him in scoring that year, so I mean, the transition, it's a step up. So it was even harder than it was when I was at JUCO. Right. I mean, it's a step up. I mean, you know, everything was harder and it was tougher because I was even further away from home.
You still dealing with that even past the first year?
Yep. Still further away from home. And actually that first year it was a little bit better because my mom moved out there to Georgia with me.
Yeah, you are the baby.
Perks of being the baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Perks of being the baby.
Did you put pressure on her to do that, or that was a call that she made?
Nah, that was a call that she made. I don't remember saying anything. Now I might have hinted like, "You coming with me?"
Right.
But I mean, it was just like, she was like, "Well, you know, I'm coming. I'll go out there with you first year, get acclimated, and you know." And it was good because I ended up tearing my meniscus that year too.
Oh, which leg?
I don't even remember. I think it was the right one. I did both.
Okay, so I get you.
I did both. Yes.
So did you do them both when you were in college, or one before one?
I did one in high school and then one in college.
Golly. So what's that process of getting back like? Because I know sometimes if I stub my toe or something, I'm walking gingerly for the rest of the time. Like, hold on, let me clear my corners. Let me look and be extra cautious. But that's not even a real bad injury for real.
Right.
But tearing something and then working your way all the way back to get ready to compete at full strength again. What is that like?
All mental.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Like, it's all mental. You got to just tell yourself, okay, this is why I'm coming back. You know, I'm coming back to play the game that I love. I'm coming back to, you know, help my team win. I'm coming back to help my teammates. I'm coming back to help this program that I'm with. I tore my meniscus exactly 5 weeks before our first game in college. A meniscus tear is 4 weeks, like, you know, out, and then slowly getting your way back. I tore my meniscus 5 weeks exactly before the first game, and I played the first game.
Oh, that's determination right there. Did you have the brace on, though?
I wore the brace for, like, the first, 3 games back, and then I'm like, I can't do this. I can't move. I got to be able to move. I got to be able to be, you know, mobile. So, you know.
Restricted. Huh?
Yeah, it was too restricted, so I took it off. But
how grueling was the rehab?
It was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in there every day. My coach, basically, she said, she told the trainer, like, she has to be back. She's my starting point guard. So push her. If she crying, don't worry about it. She'll be okay.
You embraced that, though, huh?
It made me tougher. You know, it made me tougher. It was one of the toughest things then that I had been through, you know, because in high school I was able to kind of, you know, slowly get my way back because it was a couple months before basketball season started. And so it wasn't as grueling. But, I mean, it was different when I got to college and had to go in there every day, and it was rough, but it made me tougher. It made me mentally stronger for sure.
Good deal. I'm glad that was the last tearage.
Yes,
you know what I mean? We don't need no more of that.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, what was a regular day in the life of yours as a college student athlete once you got to the Division I level? Because, you know, I hear all the horror stories. I didn't play at that level, but I would always hear about how y'all's days are so booked up. And it's regimented every single day. Yeah.
Preseason is rough. It's a lot easier once you get into the actual season because you don't have to do as much. But preseason, I mean, maybe 5 a.m. workouts and maybe 6 a.m. if she feeling nice.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Ooh,
it's no later than 6 a.m.
That's the consolation. 6.
Yeah, it's no later than 6 a.m. So get up at 6 a.m. for, workouts. Go work out for an hour. Maybe get back to your dorm room, take a shower. Then if you have an 8 a.m., you got to make it to class.
Yeah.
But you got to hurry up and do that so you can get to the caf to get something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Then make it to an 8 a.m. class, go through your classes that day, and then you got practice, midday, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever the case may be. Then after practice, rehab, maybe, whatever, weights, whatever, whatever's on the schedule for that day. Then, you got to go get your studies done. You got to go do your homework. We didn't necessarily have a set like study hall, but she expected us to obviously keep our books right, and so you gotta go do your work. That takes about 3 hours. Then by that time you too tired to do anything else.
Yeah.
You find time to eat, go to the caf, come back, go to sleep, do it all again.
No social life like that. At least not in the beginning, right?
Not in the beginning. You too tired. Tired. We were like 50 miles from Atlanta, and everybody like, oh, you was down there kicking it. No,
nah.
no,
not
I
like
was
you
not.
think.
Not like you think, because I was too tired, and wasn't nobody making that drive back and forth. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you remember how long it took for you just on a personal level to where you found a rhythm? Like, okay, I got it. This is how I'm gonna go about my day to day to where it starts to feel comfortable.
I say about 3 weeks.
Okay.
You get. About 3 weeks. You kind of get into like a routine.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of find, what time you can go to sleep, so I won't feel so sluggish in the morning. You just kind of get that routine, and you just kind of stick with it. And I try to stick with it as best I can. No detours. I can't go.
Yeah.
I can't go because I gotta.
Every minute
I got
counts.
I got too much I need to get done. So.
That's discipline, yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you one thing I remember seeing when I was in junior college. Not everybody handled the freedom that well. Because I don't know how loose or how much. It sounded like, since y'all was so successful at Barton that 1 year, right? It sounds like some structure was in place. But where I was during the time I was there, nah.
Yeah.
You did whatever you wanted to do. Whatever you didn't want to do, you didn't do. And a lot of guys, we went from having like 25 people in the basketball program in August to, by the time fall break was around, you cut that in half.
Yeah.
And then coming out of the holiday break, it was like 2 or 3 less than that. I'm like, oh, I'm outlasting people. Did you deal with any of that, or did everybody that start finished?
We had maybe like 2 girls like that didn't come back, but other than that, it was pretty solid. We had a pretty solid group of girls that was disciplined and was there and had a plan. Yeah. And so JUCO, we partied. We really did. Like weekends, we party. We was going to Hutch. We was going to wherever. Wherever was closest. We was on the road. Wichita State. I was at Wichita State a lot because like 3 or 4 of my friends from high school went to Wichita State. And so,
were they athletes or they were just students?
Yeah, they were athletes, but they ran track. So they wasn't doing nothing. So they would be like, "Hey, come down here." I'm like, "All right, bet. I'm there." But so like weekends was our freedom. And so we had fun, but we still found, we were still pretty, our sophomores that year was really good. Just about bringing us freshmen in and like, hey, don't go too crazy. Like, you got freedom, but don't go too wild.
So y'all had some good vets then.
Yeah, we did. We did.
That's a cheat code right there, because it's like you got to have some extensions of the coach, if you want to say, like somebody that's going to help you guys police yourselves for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your sophomore season. You led the team in scoring, hit the scene, in style. How was that junior season?
Junior year was good. We had it was Coach's second year, so she was really able to bring her girls in that she wanted, her that fit her style of play.
For sure.
And so we had a really good junior a team my junior year, and so we made it to the conference tournament. I think we made it to the second round of the conference tournament. And so we had a really good team that year. It was all conference that year. I think I was second on the team in scoring. We had a girl that was really good that year. And so we had a couple transfers. I think that year we had girl that transferred from OSU. We had 2 girls that transferred from OSU, from Oklahoma State. And so we had a good squad that year.
Big right there. Mm-hmm. Y'all getting it. Did your role grow as a leader? So you done been there for a year, and you got some cachet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got some credibility coming off of that sophomore year.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you always want to make sure that you keep adding, and not, hey, this year was a fluke. You don't ever want to be just like a, one-hit wonder.
Yeah, flash in the pan.
Yeah, no, yeah. So you always got to make sure you maintain, your status. Of who you are. So, I definitely got better. I got more vocal that year. She looked for me to be a lot more vocal.
Was that hard for you at all?
Definitely.
It was?
Off the court, I'm super quiet. Till I get to know you. But,
right.
On the court, I mean, it was just kind of hard because I just kind of went through about my business. And,
right.
I did what I'm supposed to do. Why can't you do what you're supposed to do?
Right.
I don't need to tell you.
Leading by example kind of deal?
Yeah, but, she said as a point guard, this is what you got to do. You got to be vocal. You got to be an extension of the head coach. Because sometimes you can't hear from over there. You can't. And so you got to be an echo. So I got better at that my junior year for sure.
You know how, since we both are high school coaches, right? Mm-hmm. When the run is over, let's say this is taken for granted the fact that you got to the state tournament. So you take off the following week, which is usually spring break. Maybe depending on where you're at, you may take off another week and then you get back in the lab, right? How long did it take for y'all to get back to work in the spring after the seasons were over at the NCAA level? You know what I mean?
Oh, so it normally ran like spring break, kind of like high school. Mm-hmm. If you don't go past your conference tournament.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we got spring break off, and then that next week we got back to classes started. When classes started again in the spring, it was like, all right. We in meetings, we getting our schedule together, and then we back in the weight room. Back to basically, postseason conditioning.
Ooh.
We back to doing sprints and agility and it was back. It was like we were in preseason again. So
preseason and off season looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Preseason and off season look the exact same. Now off season it's a little bit more loose. Mm-hmm. You do a little bit more skilling and drilling, kind of just working on your ball handling, fine tuning your shots, stuff like that. But I mean, it's as far as like conditioning and team stuff, it was the same.
What I thought you were gonna say was all of that except the conditioning part.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? I said, we're gonna hit the reset button like it's August again.
Nope.
Okay.
It was the same.
Did y'all get up and down at all and compete?
Yeah, we did, and that was the best part about it. Like, was getting in there. I mean, we had like team stuff, and then we had to come back for just open run. Like just getting up and down, and that was the best part about it. Just getting in there, playing free, working on your game, and I think that's what's missing, in today's generation. Yeah. It's just getting up and down, playing. You getting out there with a group of girls that you might not even know, and just getting up and down. So
building that chemistry.
Yeah, just running. Working on your game.
Did y'all put hands on the recruits when they come up in there too?
No.
And get in the mix?
No, we wasn't into all that, I don't guess. Not me.
Well, I need you to dispel some narratives for me, right? Because see, I've been around a little while like you have, so I've coached girls and I've coached boys too. And so these are just my experiences I'm speaking from. So I'm gonna generalize a little bit. So from what I've seen, when with the boys, if I leave a basketball in here and I go to the bathroom or whatever and I come back, there'll probably be a game going on. Mm-hmm. And they'll be playing hard but won't be working on nothing that they really going to do in the game. And my eyebrows will be up like, all right, if you like it, I love it. Whereas, if some of the girls I used to coach, like we would have to be here and make sure that it looked like it was supposed to look. Because for some reason they just wouldn't compete as hard with one another. And I'm listening to you talk, and I can see it in your eyes, like you were built a little differently. Like, how have you seen it in your coaching career?
So I grew up like going to different gyms in the summertime, and that's all we did. Just going to different open gyms. I mean, they used to open up Northwest Classen. We was at Millwood. We were all over the place. Like me and my sister, and one of her friends, a couple of my friends, we used to just go like, hey, you trying to hit this open gym? You trying to hit this run? And so we was like, it was hard. Like we was playing for a championship or something. Like we went at each other.
Really competing.
Like we was really competing. Nowadays, I think girls are afraid of kind of that competition or making them mad. I see that a lot. You know, I don't want to step on your toes. I don't want to do nothing that's going to embarrass you to make you mad. Because you know how girls are. You do something on the court, we ain't cool off the court.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like, I mean, that's how it is. Like, you, like, boys, y'all can dang near fight. Be fighting on the court, like forehead to forehead, what's up?
Yeah.
And then y'all be cool. Like, walk out like nothing ever happened. Girls can't do that. We hold grudges. So you do something to make me mad on the court, you know, I'm still mad at you.
Yeah, I'm cool on you personally.
I'm still mad at you. And I've seen it. I've been around that.
Were you ever there with yourself?
No.
No? You always are wired differently. You could leave it here.
Yeah, I could leave it here because I guess, I don't know, I guess just growing up and seeing how my sister competed, you know, just going to OCU and, you know, after basketball camp every summer, they went up and down. They played, you know, they ran camp, and then as soon as camp is over, they getting out there and they scrimmaging, they running up and down, and we used to watch that.
Putting on a show.
And they used to go hard.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, that just being engraved in me, and it just, I don't know, it just carried on. But like this generation, they really don't have that. They don't have that example. For one, they don't watch enough basketball for me. Like, they don't watch it enough.
The right stuff. Like, not the league. But sometimes I would settle for that too. Okay, watch something. But that right there's much badass.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you say you want to be a college athlete and you don't watch college basketball? Like, you have no idea what it takes. You have no idea how hard they go. You know, and I tell my girls, like, you better wake up. Because it's hard. You're going to get up there and you're going to coast, you're going to loaf, and they're going to send you home. Like, it ain't going to be no calling my mama. It ain't none of that. It ain't none of that. So
you can call mama, but mama can't call coach?
Yeah. You can go vent all you want to, but she better not call that coach.
Right.
So I think that's part of the issue, you know, with them not being able to compete against each other because they don't see it. They don't have it. And I'm not saying all girls, because
you got exceptions.
You got exceptions. But it's just the whole generation of, you know, basketball players now. It's just,
I see it with the fellas too. They be out there just brother-in-law, as I call it. Like, listen, you don't want to make them look bad?
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be fine.
That's it. That's it. They don't want to make each other look bad.
You know what I mean? Get past that little uncomfortable moment. Y'all will be bros and go get something to eat after this is over.
Because, like, you got to think about, like, somebody would be recording on the sideline.
Oh, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody would record, and if you do something, you cross her, it's going to be on TikTok in 5 seconds, and now everybody going to be clowning you.
Yeah, you got to explain that. But it's like, hey, man, it happens.
It is what it is.
If you play long enough, somebody going to hit you with something.
Is.
You're like, ooh.
Yeah, somebody going to hit you with something.
All right, back to the court. You go rolling into your senior year. All right. Did you have any sense that, okay, this is it for me, or was it like, okay, I want to try and pursue and play beyond this year? What was your mental approach going into that last season?
Going into my last year, I did want to go, like, play professionally overseas, you know, whatever I could get.
Right.
But I went through so many injuries my senior year. Like, I tore a ligament in my shooting hand and my thumb. Tore a ligament. I always dealt with stress fractures in my feet. Like, I dealt with stress fractures in my feet since the 8th grade. And so I was kind of not really injury prone, but I had nagging injuries to where if something happened, you know, it just followed me, and it was like reoccurring.
Couldn't get rid of it.
Couldn't get rid of it.
What was your pain tolerance like though? Were you a big old baby?
No,
okay.
I wasn't. I have a high pain tolerance. I mean, I still do.
Right.
I have a high pain tolerance, but I could kind of just get through it. You know, after I'll be like, I'm about to die.
When the adrenaline wears
but
off.
During, I'm like, okay, I got to keep going. Right. So, tore a ligament in my thumb. We were playing OU at OU my senior year. You know, back at the crib.
Come on now.
Back at the crib, got all people like, you know, oh, let me get tickets. I'm come see you play, and I'm like, got a cast on my thumb. You know, it was a soft cast, so I could be out there and play, but I couldn't shoot.
Right.
So, you know, I'm doing a whole lot of passing, and I'm like, oh. So dealt with that. And then obviously just the knees was just, you know, bad. And then I always had stress fractures, and it was just injury after injury. I mean, like, you know, it was just pain. And so kind of like, you know, towards the end of the season, my coach was like, hey, you know, there is some offers, you know, for you to pursue a career if you want it, go overseas. You want it, what you want me to tell them? And I'm like, I can't do it. My body's just done.
Listening to that body.
Yeah, like I don't think I picked up a basketball after my last game until it was like a good 4 months.
So you graduated
like after graduation.
What, in 2010?
2010, yep.
So I'm sitting up here trying to do my little basic math. So if you graduated in May of that year, so you probably didn't do nothing basketball related till the fall, basically.
Yeah,
wow.
After season, obviously March, right? And so graduated in May. I didn't do nothing. I didn't see the gym. I didn't want to see the gym. I went to class. I was a regular student.
Yeah. Did you feel like you got it all out of you?
I did. I felt like I felt satisfied. Like I felt like, okay, I gave it my all.
Right.
I did what I had to do. I left my mark. Scored over 1,000 points in college in 3 years. At Mercer.
Right.
Take most people 4 to do that.
Yeah.
So scored over 1,000 points. Last time I checked, that's probably a little bit further down now, but I was 10th in scoring
all time
at Mercer. And so I felt like I did what I had to do at one of the highest levels,
right.
D1, but mid-major, but still D1, still played against good competition night in, night out, and I held my own. So I felt like I was good. I was like, okay, I really don't. I'm cool.
Nothing else to prove.
I'm cool.
Were you caught up in the D1 thing when you were coming out of high school? And let me preface by saying that I don't knock anybody for shooting for the stars, but I hear a lot and see a lot of the youngsters these days. It's like
D1 a bust.
Yeah, and I can hear the inexperience when they say that, because they don't necessarily understand that the next level is the next level to some degree. And if they really want to play, and you get down to that final hour and you don't have that D1 look you want, now you got a decision to make.
Yeah.
So did it matter like that to you?
No, not really. Simply because when we were coming up, D1s really didn't recruit short guards. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really play. I didn't really have a position in high school. So, AAU was totally different from what it is now. You can travel to, just down the road to Texas, and every college coach in the country is going to be there, and they can see you.
Yep.
We was coming up, you had to make it to nationals.
That's right.
That was the only time that a college coach is going to be in the gym watching you play. So we didn't get that same exposure, and so they dang sure wasn't coming to Millwood, because like I said, Miss Spears old school. She wasn't going out, and she didn't know nothing about that. Times have changed. But and so they just wasn't recruiting short guards. So my mentality was just get whatever, just go to the next level, just get there.
Whoever wants you.
Yeah, just go. And like I said, I ain't have nothing really. I had one close offer. I think it was it might have been UTSA or something like that.
Somebody that was really interested.
Yeah, and they came to a couple practices, and assistant coach liked me, and then head coach was like, yeah, she's just too short. She's just too little for our league.
Too little for our league.
Too little for our league. She's too little, because I played the two. Coming off screen, shooting, spotting up. I really wasn't bringing the ball down, so they didn't see me in that position. And so I'm like, I can do both. You want me to be a point guard in college, I can do that. But they wasn't recruiting short guards back then, so it's kind of my mentality was just get there, just go to college, just.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So that means you must have been a pretty good student too, coming in. All right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Coach Spears, right? Well, I love the respect that a lot of y'all have for her. Y'all still call her Miss Spears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Always.
Now,
Always.
I was at Millwood for a year, right? About 2019-20, right before COVID hit. I'm coaching over there. Me and old Coach Jeffries. I would always hear the legend of her. I didn't ever get to meet her. But what was it like being under her leadership for your 4 years there? She'd been there for years before you got there, right? And I think she was there for a little bit later than you too, right? What were your Miss Spears experiences like?
Miss Spears, you knew if you went to Millwood and you played basketball, you knew about Miss Spears. She come to the middle school games hollering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she comes to middle school games hollering, telling you what you need to do. And so if you had, you knew who Miss Spears was. You knew about her. Like I said, she was old school. So, roll out the ball, you got to wear knee pads so you can get on the floor. Don't be afraid to get on the floor. You know, practices was a lot of, you know, up and down. We did a lot of fundamental stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, we knew her passion for the game, and so that made us passionate for the game. You know, she was an older woman,
right.
You know, and so we saw her, you know, like she's still at it. You got to go hard for Miss Spears. It was an expectation,
right,
that you play for Millwood, you play for Coach Spears, you go hard. You represent. It's Falcon pride. I mean, it was a pride thing for us. So it was like, you know, don't disrespect. Like you can't disrespect her, like, at all.
Did she ever have? I always hear about how big her personality is. Did she ever have a flat day where she came in there and she was just like a little bit more mild than what you maybe used to? Never.
There was never a flat day for Miss Spears. She was always ready to go, always ready to give it her all. And so I think that's, I mean, like I'm saying, you play for Millwood and you play for Coach Spears. I mean, that was the norm. You know what I'm saying? And then like, alumni was heavy, you know, back then, always, you know, coming back and being involved and stuff like that. And so, you know, you see the alumni come back and you hear them and you know, you see that the respect that they still have for her. It's like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be like, you know. There's
a lot of pride over there.
It is.
I would say that. And I love to hear that. Even when I'm like a third party listening to two people from two rival schools or whatever talking greasy. I love it. I'm like, you know what? Y'all care about the school that you came from. And it's like today's youngsters, they are so, like, cool. Everything is cool. And I'm like, fellas, I tell mine, fellas, it's cool to try. Like, it's cool to, like, give a damn. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's a rabbit hole I can go down. But what type of teams did y'all have during your days in Millwood? How successful were y'all?
I mean, we went to state tournament 3 out of the 4 years. My sophomore year, we missed it by a game. We lost in the area consolation. But my freshman year, I mean, we were supposed to win a state championship. Like, my freshman year, I'm coming in, I'm like, bet, gonna get a ring my freshman year.
You on the floor immediately, huh?
Not immediately.
Okay,
talk
to me. I love the struggle.
We had 7 seniors that year.
All played?
7 seniors, and they, you know, that you go to Millwood, you grow up together. Right, so you don't. There's no coming in and leaving. It's just, you know, you there.
You start, you finish.
So yeah, they all grew up together. Was hooping, you know, together for years, and so we had 7 seniors. So I come in, little freshman, you know, just kind of making my way through, and then like we had injuries like ACL tears. Boom, boom, boom. You know, I was playing early, but I wasn't starting. You know, but and so after those injuries. I remember, I think it was the day before we playing, it was either Douglas. It was Douglas. You know, back then, Millwood Douglas's rival.
It was different.
Different. So day before we was playing Douglas, Miss Spears, you know, calling out, hey, get out here. Toy, get out here.
Excuse
With
me?
starting? Okay.
Are you sure, Coach?
All right. You know, so, you know, obviously first game, starting, freshman, nervous, rival game. But after that,
home or away though?
We was away.
Oh, yeah.
Even worse.
Threw me
in the fire. But, I mean, we had a good year. I mean, we still made it to the state tournament that year. Lost in the first round. But, I mean, it was a good experience. But, like, we had so many injuries that year. Sophomore year, like I said, we didn't make it to state. Me personally, I averaged 20 points my sophomore year.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I averaged 20 points my sophomore year. Junior, senior year, we made it to the state tournament. Me, I averaged 17 and then 16 or something like that. So.
What year did you tear your meniscus? Since you said
going into my junior year.
Okay.
My junior year.
So but you said you were back on the court before the season started. There you go. That's how you worked
So
out.
I toured like the end of my sophomore year. Like I was running track. So toured during that, and then like stopped track. You know.
That was it.
That was it for me.
Was that your first track experience?
Yeah.
First and last.
I did. Yeah. I was not feeling track
back
at
to the
all.
court. Who made you do it then? Because I bet you couldn't have chosen it on your own.
Just kind of trying something new, I guess. I don't know. I never middle school track is totally different from high school track, obviously. Yeah. Like freshman year, I didn't go out there. I wasn't fooling with it, and I'm like, I get back out there. But it was a reason that I wasn't out there.
Evidently,
court. I'm just the court for me. And I play softball, volleyball. Actually, softball was my first sport. I was better in softball than I was in basketball. But
Really?
Yeah.
So when you say first sport, we talking like single digit age?
Like
huh?
T-ball, yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Before I ever touched the basketball, I was playing T-ball, yeah. Yeah.
How long did that last before you like, all right, I'm over it?
I played summer. I was doing both. I was doing softball and basketball. And
Throughout?
Once I got to high school,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, yeah. Really, once I got to middle school, I'd say like the summer softball ended. Because I'm like, Mom, it's hot. Like, I'm going to choose. She didn't make me choose. Softball was her first sport,
Right.
you know, and so she loved it. You know, she loved being out there, but I'm like, it's hot. I'll just do school ball.
Did she fight you on that?
No. You know,
That's
she
cool.
was like, whatever you want to do. You know, if you can put your all into one thing, then put your all into it. So I kind of just started playing AAU, you know, in the summer. And then school ball, softball I played that. So
She was seasonal softball at that point.
yeah, it was too
Year-round
hot.
basketball.
Yep.
I love the way you
Year-round
think.
basketball, yep.
All right. So now we on the administrative side of things. Did you know that you wanted to coach?
Nope.
Most people say that to
Nope.
me. Like that is not that wasn't that wasn't plan A. So
Nope.
two-part question then. What originally did you set out to do once you grew up, and how in the hell did you end up with a whistle around your neck?
My major is communications.
All right.
So I wanted to be involved in some kind of, you know, TV.
Right.
Not necessarily on the screen, but kind of behind the cameras. I like all the technology. I like all the gadgets and the buttons and the cameras I like all that.
All right.
And so
You still do?
I do.
All right.
I
That's
do.
hard.
I do. So that's what I wanted to do. And I actually had an opportunity to stay in Georgia, you know, once I graduated, to kind of get into that career path. But I was ready to come home.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not staying. So I got home, and Miss Spears, you know, called me. Was like, what you gonna do now? It's like, oh no. You know, and I had a little job. You know, I was doing like the rehabilitation specialist, you know, the counseling.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's what I was doing, you know. And so Miss Spears called me one day. What you gonna do? What's your plan? I don't really have one, I guess. Well, come up here, help with the middle school. I'm like, middle school what? She's like, basketball. I don't want to coach. I don't even like kids. At that time, you know,
Right.
she's like, girl, come on up here. Like, they need help down there. Like, I need somebody down there that can show them what, you know, what they supposed to be doing, like the right way. You know,
Okay.
I mean, Miss Spirit, she gonna tell you, like, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, she gonna tell you.
Right.
Like, no, I need her to do it because she
Right.
do it right.
And
You don't do it right.
She gave you no room for protest, huh?
No.
Oh.
No. She's like, come on, practice, you know, come to practice. They start at 3:30, blah, 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 in the Arts Academy. I'm like, all right.
All right, I guess
So
I'll
I
be
show
there.
up, and I just kind of, you know, go sit on the bleachers and kind of watch. And, you know, the competitor in me and the basketball player and the know what it's supposed to look like person in me is
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Nah, I got to get up out the bleachers.
Nope. I got to go show them that she not dribbling down the right side. With, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not dribbling down the left side with her right hand.
No, we can't watch that.
That can't happen. That can't happen. So, you know, kind of introduced myself to the coach, got involved, and then that's how I got into it.
Just like that. Okay, so what year was that?
That was 20. Yeah, it was 2010. Yeah. So like
Oh,
when I
damn.
got from college, yeah. I mean, it was
Didn't take
2010.
long.
It didn't take long. And then, you know, I stayed with the middle school. I did not actually go up to the high school because I ended up, you know, coaching with her. I did not go up to the high school until the 2011 season, 2012 season. And that's the year that we actually won state that year.
I get you.
Yep. So,
Full circle in some ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Little
know
bit.
you wanted to get one as
yeah,
a player,
for
but
sure. For
got
sure.
one as a coach. You know, so I'm gonna ballpark you. So if the 11-12 campaign, that was my first year coaching, period. So I'm 22 at the beginning, and I ended up turning 23 before the end of that year. So you got to be 23 yourself.
Yeah.
How tricky was the communication piece between you and those high school girls? Because the oldest girl in that program is 18.
Yeah,
and
18.
you're in the same generation.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Was it a moment to where you had to you had to approach it like, okay, maybe I don't need to turn it all the way up, or did you have to go there? How'd it go?
It was a slippery slope for a little bit because me being so young, they looking at you like, oh, you our age. You know what I'm saying? Like, you our age. Yeah. How you gonna tell me?
I can't take you seriously.
Yeah. Like, I can't take you seriously when you yelling at me. But the more I got to know them and they got to know me, it was kind of like that respect factor. Yeah. Miss Spears kind of did set that boundary. Like, hey, she young, but she know what she talking about. She on my staff. You know what I'm saying? So listen to her. She can, tell you how it's supposed to be done. And then I started like doing like, after practice little skill sessions with them, and so that kind of developed a chemistry with us, a relationship. True. And so like our bond just grew a little bit after that. And so they was like, oh, okay, and then they got to know my story. I got to telling them everything. The girls that did want to go to the next level, I got to telling them, hey, this is what you need to do, this is how it's gonna be. And so they was like, okay, all right. And then they kind of looked at me like they could relate.
Yeah,
because Miss Spears, she older.
Right.
Me, I'm younger, you know what I'm saying? So they could relate to me. They'd come and tell me things, and we could just kind of talk. So it was kind of like a big sister, little sister type deal, off the court, and then like on the court, they still respected me enough to listen to me. So
that's super solid. See, those are the parts that I miss about being an assistant coach every now and again. Because like you're the first point of contact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what's happening in the locker room. You go tell coach, hey, this is the direction they in right now. This how they feeling. This may be what we need to do today. But for some reason, whenever you're running things, they look at you like the boogeyman.
A little different.
Yeah. But here's the boy in me, because I know sometimes you got to get out there and show them that. Listen, I'm really like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm still better than y'all.
Yeah.
Did you have any of those moments where you had to physically show the ladies like, yo, please don't try me?
Of course.
And
I still got it. I still have to do it.
You still do? So you got it in you. I love that.
I might be a little bit slower, but I still get out there. But like back then at Millwood, I got out there all the time, especially when they started, going up and down. And I brought the whole watching film of the opponents, and when we got in the playoffs, I was really on it, asking people for film and kind of doing scout reports. And so I'm bringing all that back to to Millwood and to them, and they like, oh, okay. So I'm being the other team's best player, and you come guard me, and I'm not gonna take it light on you. I'm not gonna take it easy. So if you can guard me, you can guard whoever you got to guard. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm better than her.
Yeah, straight up.
Right now. And so for now, Coach, she still tell me, hey, bring your shoes today. I'm like, oof, okay, I gotta get my mind right, drink my water. I'm a little bit more tired now.
Come on now, I gotta get that. Gotta get a real stretch in.
Yeah.
Not just that little.
It's fun. I still enjoy it. They still like, hey, I still got it. A little bit.
That's solid.
I can still outshoot you. I can still outshoot you.
That never leaves.
Never.
That don't require too much. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay, so after the title run, how long were you at Millwood as a coach before your next venture?
I left there 2016.
Okay, so was it 5 seasons? Mm-hmm. All right. Was it just time, or you had another better opportunity come your way?
It was just time.
Okay.
It was time. We had some new coaches rolling through there, and it was just kind of time for me to just spread my wings and go somewhere different.
Gotcha.
And that's how I ended up with Coach Smith.
Yeah,
now.
You about to say Bass?
I was Coach Smith. Now that's how I went to Millwood City, and she had just won a state championship there, and all her assistant coaches were leaving, so she was looking for a new staff.
Yeah.
And so I actually saw that job on what's the coaching website, whatever it is.
The job board.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, all right, I'll send my resume in. She called me, met her, talked, and she offered me the job. So I'm like, all right. Cool.
So you just went in blind. Y'all didn't have a pre-existing relationship.
Didn't know her at all. Nope.
Okay, so were you looking at the school and the program? Is that what was like? Okay, cool. Go there. I know they got some dogs out there.
Yeah.
Let me shoot there.
I wanted to go somewhere where it was still a winning culture. I couldn't go to just anywhere. I couldn't. That's just
I feel you.
That's just a competitor in me. I'm used to winning. I'm used to being, just competing, when you walk in the gym. And so I wanted to go somewhere where I could still have that. And, some of the girls that were coming up, to high school, I had coached previously, when they were younger. So, they were in middle school. So I'm like, okay, it's a pipeline coming. Yep. It's a pipeline coming. So, I know them girls, they don't know her too well, but they know me. And so it just kind of all worked out, that way.
How was it that which would have been Coach Smith's second year? You know what I mean? You may or may not have been able to pinpoint it, but after you have so much success like that, it's like it's either hot or it's cold, meaning those who were there for that run, maybe it turns their hunger off or it turns it up. How was the atmosphere when you got there?
She had I think like 7 seniors that year.
Ooh,
and so she had a senior Latin team, and so that was the bulk of the girls who played. And so the girls obviously that didn't play were coming back, and they still had that hunger, they had that drive. It just wasn't as much talent. We still competed, we still had a winning record. But obviously, we didn't win a state championship. We didn't go to state that year. But, I mean, it was still, they had the competitiveness in them just because of the previous group that just left, saw them win a state championship. And then they believed in Coach, obviously, because she came in first year and won a state championship like that. And them girls had been there, for 3 years previous. And you come in first year and you win a state championship. So, it was just... I loved it. I enjoyed my time definitely at Miller City.
And you were only there for 1 year, right?
No, I was there for 3 years.
3? Okay, so were you there after Coach Smith left too? Is that what I'm hearing?
We came over here together.
Okay.
So was there, got there 2016, 2017 season. And then 2017, 2018, and then 2018, 2019 is when we left and came over here.
Was that a hard decision for you to make?
Definitely. It was because growing up, obviously, I'm from Millwood, east side of Oklahoma City. We didn't come out here.
I get it.
We didn't come out here, and I'm like, where are you going?
And I'm pretty sure, like, I'm a Tulsa boy, right? And you a city girl, no pun intended. But I don't know. The thought back home was like, if you're not playing ball in the inner city, you ain't playing no real ball anyway. Yeah. Was it the same thinking out here too?
Yeah.
During that time?
It was like, honestly, I didn't know nothing about being out here. Like, I didn't know nothing about this conference. I didn't really know nothing about 6A till I got to Millwood City, because I'm 3A my whole life, playing and coaching. So it's like, it was different. I struggled my first year, being out here just because of the culture change. Everything was different. Just the people I see every day, the people I work with, and then the girls that I coach. They was just a little bit different.
Everything different.
I could be, tougher on the girls that I came from. They were used to that. They got that at home. Whereas out here, when I first got here, I'm like, it's
a little different.
A little different.
Yeah.
But, I've grown. I've grown. It helped me. It helped me.
Made you better then.
Yeah, it helped me personally. It helped me, coaching wise. And so, I definitely enjoy being out here.
So, what's your role on the staff? You know what I mean?
I'm the head assistant.
Look at you.
And so, my role is...
Your duties. That's probably a better
word. My duties. I do all the graphics, like the social media stuff. And I make sure, our girls are being seen, game day graphics. I do all that for our Twitter page. I do that. I do stats, put in the stats, stuff like that. We all kind of collectively do, scouting reports, watch film. Like I said, be other team's best player when needed. But other than that, I mean, we have duties, but everybody kind of just, pitch in collectively, and
y'all got chemistry at this point.
We are a great staff. We work well together. I can get up and tell Coach, like, hey, this is what I see, and she'll do it. Majority of the time she will. She's definitely not a person that'll be like, no, I got it.
Right.
And so we kind of just got that. I sub. I do the subbing.
There you go.
In-game subbing.
My assistant does the same thing. I'm like, I ain't scared to delegate. Hey, whatever you see, go on, send them.
Yeah. So I do the in-game subbing. So I take pride in that, having the girls, on the court in the right positions and stuff like that. So.
Now, you just right hand to Coach Smith, or do you have your own team too? You got the JV, you got the freshmen? How you working?
Just varsity. Yep, just varsity.
That's solid. So that means y'all got at least 4 of y'all on the staff, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's her, me. We got another assistant, and then we got 2 more.
Now, who's the good cop? Who's the bad cop? I need to know.
She is.
She the bad cop?
She the bad cop.
Oh,
yeah. She the bad cop. I mean, she gotta be. You know, she gotta have that. She gotta have that demanding demeanor. You know, at all times. So, I'm the good cop. You know, we gotta balance each other out.
Yeah, the
so.
yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Now, is that naturally how you are, or is it something? Did you have to learn how to be that?
I had to learn how to be that because
bad cop lane was already taken.
I go hard.
Yeah.
Like you know, you gotta go harder. Like you know, if I'm telling you, you gotta go harder. You gotta go harder. You gotta give me more than what you giving me. Like that was me. I'm gonna be in your face. I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna clap my hands, do all this. But like just being, I've kind of scaled back and pulling girls to the side with me. Like this is what you need to do. Sometimes I turn it up. But, locker room, they ain't doing what they supposed to do in the first half. I'm like, hey, coach, can I get him? Go ahead.
Yeah. I get him. I got him first.
Let me get him first. So.
That's good. And I always say I don't care who they get it from. I'm not ego tripping. It's like, hey, listen, if you're on my staff and they rock with you a little more than they rock with me, okay, fine. Just did you get it though?
Right.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So I'm gonna pivot a little bit. You are a mother. All right, you got a little baby boy, right? How old is he now?
He is 1. He'll be 2 in June.
Now, see, in my mind, I was thinking he was already 2.
Nope.
Look at you, both of y'all June babies.
Yep.
All right, so first of all, what's that like? And how do you balance all this stuff that you do every day with being a mom, too?
I love it.
Yeah.
Growing up, I've always had nephews. Just my nephews were always around.
Right.
Me being a baby, my older sister, she has 3 boys. And so like I've always had, that nephew bond, that nephew relationship. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like I don't need kids. I got my nephews.
Right.
And my mom would be like, nah, once you get your own, it's a little different.
It's gonna be different.
It's a little different. So once I had him, I'm like, okay, yeah, this feeling is different. I love it. It's still weird to me, like waking up and having to take care of a whole nother human. Like it's still weird. It still feels weird, but it's I love it. Just seeing him smile, his face, his laugh, everything about him. The balance has been
still working on it.
Still working on it.
Yeah.
I say it's not as tough because I do have help. I mean, I have a lot of help. My sisters.
Cheat code right there.
Yeah, I have a lot of help. And so, me being a baby, but, my mom will, pick him up from daycare if I can't make it over there. Hey, I got to stay at practice for a little bit longer. Can you grab him? I'll be there at the house in a minute, my sister will take him, they'll pick him up on game day, bring him to the games and stuff like that. So it hasn't been too difficult. Now, the only thing I can say is different is I can't stay, after practice as much as I used to. I used to stay after practice and get some shots up with the girls and just do ball handling and stuff like that. But yeah, but I can't do that now. So that's the only thing that's been a little bit different. But other than that, I think the balance it's been okay.
Since you are in the kid business, do you look at that? Do you look at our line of work any differently? In any way, whether that's good or bad, now that you're a parent?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think you get into this profession to be that role model, to be that mentor, to kids. And so I look at it a little bit differently because, obviously, when my kids start going to school and he start playing sports, I want, his coaches to be him to be close with his coaches, to have that respect for his teachers, to be able to, the teachers to be able to treat him right and stuff like that. So it is a little bit different, now that I have a child,
Maybe I'll know a little something about that one of these days. Watching the game from the sidelines now.
Yeah.
But, okay, off the court, how do you decompress? Like your hobbies that have nothing to do with sports or competition. Like if you kicking back on a day off, what can we find Coach Toya doing?
Watching TV.
Yeah.
Listening to music. I love music.
Therapy.
I'll put in my headphones in a minute and just let the music ride. But I like watching TV. I like watching, Netflix. I like getting caught up on all kind of shows.
Binge, baby. That's the best.
Like binge watching. I just lay there. When he sleep, I'm like, peace.
Yeah.
Quiet. But that's pretty much what I do. I mean, I don't do a whole lot.
Low maintenance, huh?
I'm real low maintenance.
I respect it. Okay, well, here's how we wrap it up, because this is a school night, and I'm going to let you go here. This is the all due disrespect segment, right? So what I want you to do, I want you to dig deep into the archives, right? Think back to some of them games that you played in high school, college, and that you've been coaching at the high school level. A game that y'all lost, you had no business losing. You should have won. You felt like that then, and you still feel like that right now. So if you could run it back, which game you going to? Who got you that wasn't supposed to get you?
High school, we ain't lose too much in the city.
Oh, nice little flex.
We ain't lose too much. So I would probably say state tournament, my senior year, we lost 4 overtimes.
Ooh.
Went 4 overtimes.
Was that in the quarters or the semis? Or the finals?
Quarters, yeah. First round, yeah. We lost 4 overtimes. Had no business losing that game. None.
No, hold on. Can you really say that, though?
None.
Oh, none? Who got you?
None. Bethel?
Okay.
I want to say. I think it was Bethel.
4 overtimes.
4 overtimes. That game was rough. College? I don't really remember too many of those. Like, we had no business losing that game.
Blur.
Yeah. Coaching, I would probably say the 2012-2013 season.
So the year after y'all won it.
The year after we won the state championship, 2012-2013, we played Northeast at Northeast. And that year they were undefeated. Ended up winning the state championship that year.
All right.
But we were playing at Northeast, had them the whole game, and then lost in overtime. Yeah.
You know, that's always my favorite question, because most people that we talk to or that I listen to, they got a whole lot of bright moments, right? And yourself included, you got a whole lot of successful stories and good moments, but just a handful of those bad ones. But the bad ones always stick out.
You always remember it. Like,
just can't let it go.
Dang it. And then I say recently, last year in the state tournament against Union.
I vaguely remember that game.
Yeah.
Now, did y'all play that one at Sapulpa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, we were at Sapulpa, and we were winning the whole game until the last, 2.5 minutes.
See?
And just let it go.
God dog it.
Yeah.
The business that we're in.
Yep.
Blessed and cursed at the same time.
Highs and lows.
Well, listen, this has been fun. I learned a lot about you. I've known you a little bit from a distance, but I think this is the first time we got to sit and chop it up, and I appreciate your time. Continued success. I wish you the best, and go Lady Broncos.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.